I'm here. What's up, Wing Chun? Hey, you're the first one today. Yo, good job. What's up, Losh? Nice of you to join. Good try. Christina, how's it going? What's up, Hope? Glad you're here. Hey, Casey. What's up, Casey? The last few chapters were pretty eventful. Yeah. Let's see what happens tonight. Hey, Nikki. Glad you're here. What's up, Carlstead Matthias? Yay, you finally made it to a stream. Yay. Hey, Greek Yogurt. How's it going? Dum. I'm waiting for my tea. What's up, Drakovich? How's it going? You thought I died? 5 minutes being late means I died. How you guys doing? How you doing? Okay. I saw this really cool thing. I want to show you. Hold up. All right, check it out. Now you're driving, minding your own business on the freeway. Okay, trying to get to work. All of a sudden, this happens. Whoa! Can cars just do that? How? Look at this wheel. Bam! Oh my god. I didn't know that could happen. Oh, look at it. Look at that tire coming back for a second hit. He flips over. There's no sound. Comes back. Bam! For a second hit. The audacity. Cars can just do that? Jesus Christ. Now I'm hella scared. Good thing there was a dash cam. True. Yeah, a lot of things can happen on the road. I think there was a case of a guy was in the passenger seat. This is on the local news some time ago. A guy was driving, and then his passenger was on the passenger seat, and they were driving behind this one cement truck, or not cement truck, a truck that was holding some some construction material. Okay, and a cement block just fell off the truck, fell through the window, and kills this guy in the passenger seat. Man, that's crazy. That dude definitely knew his car needed repairs and pushed his luck too far. True. Yeah. Also, which reminds me, I just replaced my tires like a month ago, and now one of the tires has a tire, the tire pressure gauge. It turns on. Yeah, it's deflating. What the hell? I had to inflate it twice already, in like 2 weeks. So it looks like there's a. I didn't see a nail or anything, but I need to get it fixed. I got it from Costco. So Costco does the tire repairs too, right? Hopefully, I think so. Get a refund? No, I believe if you buy tires from Costco, I love Costco. If you buy tires from Costco, they fix it for free. I believe if you get a flat, they'll fix it or they'll replace it for free. Yeah. You hate slow leaks. Yeah, so hopefully they'll do it for free. I need to call them. Yeah. I believe they rotate the tires for free too. And then I saw this. Do you guys see this? Raccoon dogs COVID. The strongest evidence yet that an animal started the pandemic. Appears to link the pandemic's origins to raccoon dogs, to tanuki. Okay, these motherfuckers, they are just the audacity of these guys. Yeah, so whatever. They looked at some genetic evidence in some like Wuhan street market, and they found genetic evidence of COVID along with these raccoon dogs. I think along with some other animals too. Yeah, so it seems like it might have been raccoon dogs. These are raccoon dogs from China, not from Japan, so they might not be technically tanuki. But yeah. Are they sold in wet markets? That's what this is, right? The Huanan seafood wholesale market. Showing that the virus had infected creatures for sale there, yeah. Doop, 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 doop. All right. Shall we do the GeoGuessr? All right. What do you guys think? What am I going to get today? Will I break 80%? We shall see. Jiangsu. Jiangsu. Oh, Guangdong. Tianjin. Oh my god. I'm on a roll. Fujian. You guys. Okay. Wait, what's going on? Hubei, Hunan. Hubei, Hunan? Okay. Qinghai. Oh my god, I'm gonna stop here. I'm not gonna do it anymore. It's 100% so far. You guys, I need to stop. What's going on? Zhejiang. Okay, well, this is where the party ends. Or not. Guizhou. Are you here? What is going on? Oh my god. Am I gonna get 100%? I promise, I didn't even practice. Okay, Ningxia. I believe it's over here. Hong Kong. Chongqing. Here? Oh my. What's going on? Guangxi. Okay, this is where it's here, right? Oh my. Oh my god. Is it here? I think it's here. Liao Ning should be here. Oh! 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 Oh my god. You know what? I never doubted. Not a single doubt in my mind. 100%. I swear to God, I didn't practice this beforehand. I did not. I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it since last week. Hell yeah. Damn. Hell yeah. All right. We beat China. We're done with China. What do we do now? What's next? What is next? I deserve a drink? I do deserve a drink. You know what? I will have a drink. Okay. This calls for a celebration. Oh, look at that. Oh, that number is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yikes. Right. Cheers. Mm. Do I hate Tanuki because of Kobe? I don't hate Tanuki. I love him. What do you mean? They're right up there with Kitsune. Alright, Japanese prefectures? Okay. Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know about the Japanese prefectures. I'm gonna be honest. All I know, this is Hokkaido. Yeah, since when do I hate Tanuki? Alright, Miyagi. From the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi. Where are you? Hiroshima? Yamaguchi? Akita Prefecture. Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, well. Let's see if I break 10%. Gifu, Kagoshima. 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 Tochigi. Miyazaki. Oh, Miyazaki. Tochigi. Osaka. Oh, wait. Osaka is... Hold on. Hold on. Here. Fuck. Here. Fuck. Here. Chiba should be here. No. Fuck. Here. No. Here. No! Fukuoka. Miyazaki. Yes. Ibaraki. Ishikawa. Okinawa. What? Here. Tokushima. 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 Gunma. Okayama. Alright, we're shooting for 10%. Shooting for 10%. Nagasaki. Niigata. Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, maybe I should do this with some sort of order. Okay, this is Shizuoka, Yamanashi, Saitama, Nara. Fuck! Oh yeah, that is Nara. I knew that. Tokyo Aomori. Shiga. Saitama. Shizuoka. Fukui. Toyama. Now we're gonna try this 3 times, okay? Iwate. Here. Oh, how did I know that? Kanagawa. Yamanashi. Kyogo. Kochi. Yamagata. Kyoto, Hokkaido, Fukushima, where the nuclear disaster was. Kagawa. Shimane. Oh god. Ehime. Fuita. Oh god. Hiroshima. Kumamoto. Yamanashi. Ah! 32. 32. This is the worst run. Yes, it is. Luckily, I don't teach Japanese geography. Hey, this is the modern prefectures, okay? I know all the old provinces, all of the historical provinces. Yeah, I know all of those, okay? This is just the modern ones. I don't know. Oh fuck! No. Accidentally click on the ad. All right, run number 2. Number to beat: 32%. Yamanashi. You sound familiar? Let's find a historical provinces. Shut up, Peepzilla. Tottori. Aomori. Aomori is the tip. Okay. Miyagi. Miyagi. Where were you? Shizuoka. Miyagi. Niigata. Up here somewhere? Oita. Down here somewhere? Oh! Miyazaki is here. Nagasaki is here. Oh, damn. Gunma. I don't know. Shimane, Yamaguchi. Shimane. Shimane. Toyama. Toyama. Where's Osaka again? Here. No. Here. No. Here. Fukuoka. Gifu. Mie. Oh god. Shiga. Tokyo. Fukui. Akita. Iwate. Ibaraki. Iwate should be here. Chiba. Kochi. Yogo. Saga. Oof. Tochigi. Kumamoto. Here. Akita province. No, Akita prefecture. Kanagawa. Kanagawa. I keep on clicking on Hiroshima. Kagoshima. Nara. Yeah. Fukushima. Kagawa. Kagawa. Wakayama? No. Aichi? Stop. Saitama. Nagano. Kyoto. Ishikawa. Ishikawa. Yamagata. Shimane should be here. Hiroshima. Ehime, Okayama. Okay. 41. All right. All right. We're going to do 50, okay? 50%. Let's do it. Last one. Iwate should be here. Fuck! Oh, I knew that too. Nagasaki should be these islands. Ehime should be one of these. Yamagata. Yamagata. You sound so familiar. Okay. Okinawa. Akita. Aomori. Akita. Yamaguchi. Ah. Mie. Ibaraki. Ah! Kumamoto. Hmm. Shiga should be here. No! Shiga. Oof. I knew that. Toyama. Tokyo. Kaido. Kagoshima. Kagoshima. Niigata. Wait. Ishikawa. Ishikawa. Saga. Wait. Saga. Oita. Ishikawa. Oh. Osaka is here. Kagawa. Hiroshima. Okayama. What is this one? Tochigi, Gunma. Miyazaki. Tokushima. Oh god. Oita is here. Tochigi here. Chiba should be here. Fuck! Here. Gifu here. Here. Miyagi. Hyogo. Saga. Oh god. Shizuoka. Oh, I knew that too. Wakayama. Oh, this is the worst. Aomori. Ichi. Oh, Aomori, that's the tip. Kanagawa. Dude. Tottori. Aichi. Nara. Fukushima. Okay, 42%. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, we didn't get lower than last time. Okay. Alright, we good. Next time, guys. Next time. Today, I have this. some rice candy. I think it's like a little chewy, hopefully. I don't think it's hard candy. It feels a little hard. You can rate that one? Oh, you've had this before? Okay. Ooh. Yeah. So apparently this wrapper is edible, I believe. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's chewy. It tastes like a normal fruit snack. Very glutinous. It's sweet. Not too sweet. Well, it's sweet. Yeah, it tastes just like chewy, chewy fruit candy. I'm not that big a fan of just candy, so I'm gonna say 7. Let's give it a solid 7. What's that creepy baby thing? What creepy baby thing? Oh, this thing? Yeah, what is that? All right. Shall we get started? All right. So, what happened last time? So last time, our monkish hero, Suju, he escapes from that ice cellar in the Imperial Palace of the Western Xia. He takes the 2 frozen women with him, the child elder and Li Chu Shui. And he takes them out of the Imperial Palace. They find a spot and rest in the woods or something. The 2 women are depowered. Okay, so they look like 2 old women now, and they're still arguing. Li Chu Shui dies to her injuries, and the child elder is super happy. The child elder makes Suju the leader of her sect. Right, her sect is the Misty Peak Vulture Palace. So he's a monk, and he just inherited a place of only women. The child elder dies, but then right after, Li Chu Shui wakes up. She was only pretending to die first. She tells Suju to show her that painting that the old master of the carefree sect gave him. Remember, he told Suju to seek out this woman to teach him martial arts. Turns out the woman in his painting is not Li Chu Shui, which she expected, but it was her sister. Okay, so not her. We also find out that that jade statue in the cave that Duan Yu stayed in is a statue of her, of Li Chu Shui. Okay, so the old master of the carefree sect, he carved it a long time ago, and then he became obsessed with it, and he ignored Li Chu Shui. So that's what happened there. Li Chu Shui dies. Suju takes over as the leader of Misty Peak. So Misty Peak, then we find out the Misty Peak is under attack by the people of the 36 caves and 72 islands. Because most of the Misty Peak women, they came down the mountain to search for the child elder. So Suju takes his army of women to Misty Peak to take it back. All right, so that's where we're at. How's that? What's up, Danny? How's it going? Nice of you to join. Alright, we are at chapter 38. Recklessly drunk, misdirecting passion. Suju looked at the deep ravine. He was helpless as well. He saw the anxious expressions of the group of females. He pondered, "They call me owner, but when we encountered a real problem, I can't provide any solution at all. How can I be their owner? The scripture says, if someone comes to beg for hands and feet, ear and nose, head and eyes, flesh and blood, bones, marrow, and body parts, Bodhisattva Mohesa takes delight in donating them. The sixth paramita in Buddhism first is dana. Why do I have to fear?" He removed the robe made by Fu Minyi and said, "Sister Shi, please lend me a weapon to use." Sister Shi said, "Yes." She reversed her willow leaf saber, she bowed and presented the saber. Suju held the saber in his hand. He channeled his pure energy of northern darkness to the edge of the weapon. He flicked his wrist. There was a light shwa sound. He chopped off half the iron chains which were attached to the cliff. The willow leaf saber was thin and slender, but it was very sharp, but it was not some precious weapon. So many buts. After being empowered by his internal energy, the saber cut the iron chain as if it was cutting bamboo. The other section of iron chain remaining on the opposite bank was around 2 zhang and 2 to 3 qi. Suju grabbed the iron chains and returned the saber to Sister Shi. He gathered his energy and leapt forward to the opposite bank. The group of females all cried out in alarm. Grandma Yu, Sister Shi, Fu Minyi, etc., all of them shouted, "Owner, you must not take the risk!" Amidst their shouting, Suju's body was already approaching the ravine. Remember, there was a bridge and it was cut. Okay, so there was a big ravine preventing them from going up the mountain. Amidst their shouting, Suju's body was already approaching the ravine. The internal energy within his body circulated. It was light as a feather and flew forward. Suddenly, his energy turned slightly impure and he fell downwards. At once, he waved the iron chain and wrapped it around the other broken section of chain hanging on the opposite bank. He borrowed the force and his body rose up again. He landed on the opposite bank. He turned around and said, "Everyone rest here. I will try to save them." Grandma Yu and the rest were shocked, yet full of admiration. They were also very grateful. They said in unison, "Owner, please be careful." Suju rushed towards the mountain. What, he's going to fight them all by himself? Suju rushed towards the mountain where the miserable cry came from. He moved past a stone alley, which was rather narrow. He saw 2 female corpses laying horizontally on the ground, their head separated from their body, fresh blood pouring out from their necks. Suju pressed his hands together and said, "Buddha is merciful. Sin, sin." He quickly chanted the afterlife prayer. Afterwards, he followed the alley and hurriedly rushed up the summit. He was climbing higher and higher. The white mist surrounding him was getting thicker and thicker. He reached the summit in less than 2 hours. Among the clouds and mist, the surroundings was full of pine trees. He did not hear any human voice at all. He muttered to himself, "Could it be that the females from the Great Heaven Division are all completely killed? This is really sinful." He plucked a few pine cones and put them in his bosom. He pondered, "Pine cones can kill people. I have to throw them lightly. Just scare off the enemy. I cannot kill them." He saw the path was made of green flagstone. Every flagstone was 8 chi long and 3 chi wide. Its arrangement extremely neat. It would require massive engineering works to construct such a pathway. Such effort seemed beyond the capabilities of the female subordinates under the child elder. He presumed it must have been left behind by some predecessor. This green flagstone path was around 2 li long. At the end of the path was a huge, majestic stone stronghold. To the left and right of the entrance was 2 stone vulture statues. It was around 3 jang high, sharp beak and large claws, its appearance handsome and divine. The appearance of the ancient stronghold was simple. He didn't know when it was constructed. The gate of the stronghold was half closed. However, there was no one in the surroundings. Suju rushed forward and entered. He passed through 2 courtyards. He heard a voice transmitting from the main hall. A person shouted sternly, "Where is the hidden treasure location of the thieving old woman? Will you speak or not?" A female voice cursed. "Dog slave, things already reached such a state. You think we can still live? Stop your wishful thinking." Another male voice said, "Island Master Yun, we can talk through this nicely. Why be so violent? The way you treat these women, isn't it a bit too rude?" Suju recognized this voice as Gentleman Duan. "Hey, Duan Yu is here from Dali." When Wu Laoda wanted to kill the child elder, only Gentleman Duan objected. He pondered. "It appears this gentleman doesn't know any martial arts, but he is heroic, brave, and chivalrous. He is far superior to those martial art experts. He really deserves admiration and respect." He heard the island master Yun said, "Huh, huh, you bunch of crafty servant girls want to die. Naturally, it's easy. But won't you be let off too lightly? My Jade Rock Island has 17 different kinds of weird tortures. Later, I will test out the items one by one on you crafty servant girls. I heard the torture and punishment from Black Wind Cave and Hidden Shark Island are much more ferocious than mine. Why don't you let us brothers see it and broaden our horizons?" Many people applauded and cheered loudly. Someone said, "Everyone can compete with each other. Let us see which cave or island has the most effective torture methods." From the voices, there were several hundred in the hall. Their voices echoed in the hall. It was extremely noisy. Suju wanted to find some door seam and peep through it, but the large hall seemed to be made of layers upon layers of giant stones. Unexpectedly, there were no cracks at all. He suddenly had another idea. He grabbed some mud and dirt off the ground and smeared it on his face. Afterwards, he simply stepped into the hall. The tables and chairs in the hall were all seated, full of people. More than half of the crowd didn't have any seats. They sat on the ground. A few others walked back and forth and gossiped among themselves. At the middle of the hall, 20 yellow-clothed women were sitting on the floor, their acupoints sealed. They couldn't move. More than half of them were dripping with blood. Their injuries not light. Obviously, they were the females from the Great Heaven Division. The situation inside the hall was chaotic and messy. When Suju entered, several people turned and looked at him. Since he was not female, he was not from Vulture Palace, thus they assumed he was the disciple of some cave master or island master. Nobody paid any extra attention to him. Suju sat down at the doorstep. He looked around. Wu Laoda was sitting on an old-fashioned armchair at the west, his complexion haggard and withered. However, his expression was still fierce and perverse. A tall, sturdy man was holding onto a whip. He was standing near the females of Great Heaven Division. He scolded and cursed loudly. He was trying to force them to reveal the hidden treasure location of the child elder. Evidently, he was the island master Yun. The females were stubborn and cursed him back. Wu Laoda said, "You bunch of servant girls are really stubborn. Let me tell you, child elder was killed by her martial sister, Li Qiu Shui. I personally witnessed it. Don't tell me it's fake. Surrender as soon as possible. We definitely won't make things difficult for you." Oh yeah, really? A middle-aged female shouted in a shrill voice, "Rubbish! Honorable Master is matchless under the heaven. Her body indestructible. Who can harm her, old senior? Stop your vain attempts to get the precious method to breaking the life-death talisman. Stop dreaming. Not to mention that Honorable Master is definitely safe and sound. In a blink of an eye, she will come up the peak and punish you lot of traitors. Even if old senior becomes an immortal, your life-death talisman will remain. Within a year, each and every one of you will groan in anguish. You will suffer and experience worse than death. Wu Laoda said coldly, Fine, you don't believe. Let me show you something. He revealed a cloth bundle and opened it, revealing a human leg. It's the child elder's leg. Zhuju and the group of females recognized the pant, shoe, and sock on the leg. It was the child elder's leg. They could not help but cry out in surprise. Well, at least he kept the pant, shoe, and socks on. Wu Laoda said, Li Chu-shui cut the child elder into 8 pieces and cast them down the valley. I conveniently picked up one piece. Why don't you examine it carefully? Is it real or fake? All the females from the Great Heaven Division knew it was indeed the child elder's left leg. Thus Wu Laoda was not lying. They could not help but burst into tears. The group of cave masters and island masters cheered loudly. They said, That thieving old woman is dead. Really fantastic. Someone said, The universe rejoices. Everyone celebrate together. Someone said, Wu Laoda, this kind of good news, how come you concealed it for so long? You should drink 3 big cups of wine to make up for your mistake. Someone said, Since that thieving old woman is dead, then no one can undo our life-death talisman. Suddenly, a few woo-woo sounds rang out from the crowd of people. It resembled the howling of wolves or the barking of dogs. The sound was filled with pain and anguish. It was extremely terrifying. When everyone heard it, their countenance changed. In an instant, other than this beastly wailing sound, there was no other sound within the hall. They saw a fat person rolling around on the ground, his pair of legs kicking randomly. He's poisoned by the life-death talisman. His pairs of hands scratching his face, then tearing his clothes off. Afterwards, he violently clawed and teared his chest as if he wanted to dig out his own heart and lungs. In a short period of time, his hands were full of blood, his face and chest also full of blood. His shouting was getting more and more wretched. Everyone saw he was like a demon. They could not help but move away from him. Someone said softly, The life-death talisman is here to claim his life. Although Suju was hit by the life-death talisman before, he consumed the medication immediately. Soon after, the child elder taught him how to neutralize the poison. Thus, he did not experience this kind of miserable torture. He saw the situation was extremely disturbing. He finally gained heartfelt understanding of why everyone dreaded the child elder. Damn, this talisman is no joke. Everyone seems to be afraid that the toxicity of the life-death talisman was contagious. Nobody dared to step forward to lessen his pain. In a short period of time, the fat person tore off all his clothes. His body was filled with multiple blood scars. The ground was also stained with blood spots. Someone shouted exasperatedly, Elder brother, calm down. Don't panic. Someone rushed out from the crowd. He shouted again, Let me seal your acupoints. We will think of a method to cure you. The person's appearance was somewhat similar to the fat person, but he was much younger. He was also not that fat. Obviously, they were siblings. The fat person stared vacantly. It appears as if he did not hear it. The person moved closer, his expression filled with fear and vigilance. He was around 3 chi from the fat person. Oh no, he's gonna kill his own brother. Suddenly, he extended his finger and pointed at the fat person's Jianjing acupoint. The fat person leaned to his side and avoided the finger. He flipped his hands and hugged him tightly. He opened his mouth and bit his cheek. Oh no, I knew it. The person shouted, Elder brother, let go! It's me! The fat person bit repeatedly. He was like a mad dog. His brother struggled but how could he break free? In a split second, a piece of flesh was bitten off, the wound dripping with blood. He was in so much pain that he cried miserably. Duan Yu said to Wang Yuyan, Miss Wang, any method to save them? Wang Yuyan knit her eyebrows. She said, This person is crazy. His strength inexhaustible. He is not using any martial arts. I really have no idea. Duan Yu turned his head and said to Mu Rongfu, Brother Mu Rong, your Mu Rong family's divine skill is returning you with your own move. Can it be used? Mu Rongfu did not reply, his expression displeased. Bao Butong said fiercely, You asked my young master to copy a mad dog and bite him? Duan Yu said apologetically, My words are wrong. Brother Bao, please don't take offense. Brother Mu Rong, please don't take offense. He walked to the side of the fat person and said, Senior brother, this person is your younger brother. Please release him. The fat person hugged even tighter. He was still howling like a wounded beast. Island Master Yun grabbed a yellow-clothed female and shouted, Most of the people in this hall are hit by that old thieving witch's life-death talisman. The reaction is mutual. Soon after, everyone's life-death talisman will flare up. Several hundred people will bite your body into pieces. Are you scared or not? The females gave a glance at the fat person, her expression shocked and frightened. The Island Master Yun said, Since the child elder is dead, just tell us her hidden treasure location and cure us. Everyone will be eternally grateful to you. We definitely won't trouble you anymore. The female said, It's not that I am unwilling, but nobody knows. Honorable Master is extremely secretive in carrying out her stuff. She will never let a slave servant see it. Mu Rongfu followed the crowd up the mountain. Originally, he wanted to assist them and gain their gratitude, and later recruit them into his service. At the moment, although the child elder was dead, her life-death talisman still lingered on everyone's body. It couldn't be neutralized. It seemed this life-death talisman was some kind of deadly poison. It couldn't be treated by martial arts. If everyone's poison flared up and they died, then his plans and schemes would turn into a dream. Mu Rongfu, Deng Baichuan, and Gong Yugang looked at each other and shook their heads. There was nothing they could do to help. Although the Island Master Yun knew the yellow-clothed female was telling the truth, he felt faint aching in acupoints of his life-death talisman. It seemed his was about to flare up soon. Oh shit. He was anxious and angry. He shouted, Fine! I will kill you, stinky servant girl, first, and talk later. He raised his long whip, and with a pa sound he lashed it violently at the female. The power in his whip was heavy and fierce. The female was about to have her head split open. Suddenly there was a chi sound. A hidden projectile flew from the entrance. It hit the female's waist. The female was hit and slid one jang away. There was a loud pa sound. The long whip hit the stone floor. Stone fragments flew in all directions. A small tan-brown ball was rolling on the floor. It was a pine cone. Good job, Suju. Nice. Everyone had a huge shock. They thought, a small pine cone can push a person one jang away? The energy is really no small matter. Who is it? Wu Laoda suddenly recalled something. He shouted, The child elder! It's the child elder! Previously, Wu Laoda hid behind a rock. He saw Li Qiushui cut off the child elder's left leg. Afterwards, he wrapped the leg in oilcloth and carried it with him. He assumed that the child elder was most likely killed by Li Qiushui, but he didn't personally witness how she died. Thus, he always felt anxious and worried. Previously, Suju tossed pine cones and pierced his belly. The technique was taught by the child elder. Wu Laoda's experienced it before. Thus, when the pine cone appeared again, he immediately thought that the child elder had arrived. He was so scared that his soul left his body. Everyone heard Wu Laoda shout, Child elder! They turned around and looked. Shua, shua, ta-ta, ta-ta, kualang, changlang. Various kinds of weapon sounds rang out in the hall. Everyone held their weapons in hand. They moved backwards simultaneously. On the contrary, Mu Rongfu walked 2 steps towards the door. He wanted to look at the appearance of the child elder. In reality, when he used the star-shifting movement and neutralized the falling force of Suju and the child elder, he already saw the appearance of the child elder. But he didn't know that the 18-year-old lady with a face like spring flower was actually the child elder of Heavenly Mountain. Duan Yu blocked in front of Wang Yuyan. He was afraid she might be injured. But Wang Yuyan shouted, "Cousin, be careful!" Everyone focused their attention on the entrance, but after a long time there were still no signs of movement. Bao Butong shouted, "Child Granny, if you are angry at us uninvited guests, then please come and fight. Bao Butong stands out from the masses. I am not afraid of you." After a while, the entrance was still silent and motionless. Fang Bo said, "Fine. Let me be the first one to experience the child elder's moves. I am well aware that I can't defeat her, but I still want to fight. That is my never-changing temperament." He waved his broadsword and guarded his front and charged outside the door. Deng Baichuan, Gong Yugang, and Bao Butong had deep friendship with him. They knew he was definitely not the child elder's match, thus they followed him out at the same time. Some of the island masters and cave masters admired their bravery, while others secretly ridiculed them. "You people never saw the extent of the child elder's power. Now you try to be heroic. Later you will experience suffering, and by then it will be too late for regrets." Everyone felt panicky and frightened, but they heard Bao Butong and Fang Bo's voice, one shrill and one deep. They issued their challenge loudly outside the hall, but nobody responded. The pine cone that saved the yellow-clothed female was in fact fired by Suju. He felt really apologetic seeing everyone being so frightened and anxious by his actions. He said, Sorry, it's my fault. Child elder is indeed dead. Everyone, please don't panic." But he saw the fat person was still biting his brother. He pondered, if he carries on biting, both of them wouldn't be able to live anymore. He walked towards the fat person and smacked his back. He executed the 6 solar palms of Heavenly Mountain. At once, a burst of yang energy subdued the frost poison in the fat person's life-death talisman. However, he didn't know the location and characteristic of the fat person's life-death talisman. Thus, he couldn't remove it for him. The fat person's arms relaxed. He sat down on the floor and breathed deeply, his expression wavering. He said, "Brother, what happened to you? Who injured you to such a state? Tell me quick. Elder brother will take revenge for you." The younger brother saw his elder brother regained consciousness. He was extremely happy. He did not bother about the serious injury on his face. He said repeatedly, "Elder brother, you are fine now. Elder brother, you are fine now." Suju stretched out his hands and smacked once on the shoulder of all the yellow-clothed females. He said, "Everyone is from Great Heaven Division. Your Sun Heaven, Vermilion Heaven, Clear Heaven, all the sisters from the various divisions. They are at the Heaven Connecting Bridge, but because the iron chain is broken, they can't cross over for the time being. Do you have any iron chain or thick rope here? We should go fetch them over." His palm was filled with pure energy of northern darkness. No matter where the acupoints were sealed, the blocked meridians immediately cleared up. The females from the Great Heaven Division can all move freely again. The group of females were pleasantly surprised. They stood up and said, "Many thanks to Honored Sir for saving us. We don't dare to ask for Honored Sir's great name." A few young women were impatient. They rushed out of the door and shouted, Quickly, go fetch our sisters from the 8 divisions. Afterwards, we can fight these traitors to the death." They turned their heads back and expressed thanks to Suju. Suju cupped his hands to return the thanks. He said, "I wouldn't dare. Someone else rescued you. They merely used me as their proxy." His internal energy and martial arts originated from the 3 top masters of the Carefree sect. Thus, he was saying that the child elder and the other 2 seniors rescued them. Remember, he has the energy of all 3 of these grandmasters now. So he's super strong. The crowd saw him smack his hands without any effort. The acupoints of the group of yellow-clothed females instantly unsealed. He did not inquire where their acupoints were sealed. He did not even massage the corresponding acupoints. They never seen or heard of such a technique before. His appearance was not shocking, and he was young. He definitely didn't have this kind of skill. They heard him mention about acting as someone else's proxy. Thus they believed that the child elder had arrived at Vulture Palace. Wu Laodang had some dealings with Suju at the snowy peak for a few days. At the moment, although Suju had grown hair on his head, and his face was smeared with mud, but when he opened his mouth to speak, Wu Laoda suddenly remembered and recognized him. He leapt beside Suju and hooked the meridians on his right hand. He shouted loudly, "Little monk, child elder, is here." Suju said, "Mr. Wu, the injury on your belly is completely healed? I can't be a Buddhist disciple anymore. I am really ashamed, extremely really ashamed." He could not help but blush, but since his face was smeared with mud, bystanders couldn't see it. Wu Laoda already controlled his meridians with a single move. He assumed Suju wouldn't be able to resist. At once he channeled his internal energy. He wanted to make him cry out in pain and beg for forgiveness. He knew the child elder treated this little monk extremely well. Thus he held him as a hostage, and the child elder wouldn't dare to act rashly. Unexpectedly, his internal energy seemed to disappear into the sea. It was gone without a trace. As it turned out, Suju's entire body was protected by the divine skill of Northern Darkness. He could even absorb internal energy at any acupoints. Wu Laoda was scared. He didn't dare to channel his energy anymore, but he was also unwilling to release Suju's hand. The crowd saw the position hooked by Wu Laoda. Thus they assumed that Suju was under Wu Laoda's control. Even if his martial arts was much higher, there was nothing he could do to resist. Wu Laoda could do whatever he wanted to him. They pondered, if this chap is really an expert, his vital points won't be captured that easily. Everyone started to ask him various questions. "Chap, who are you? How come you came here? What is your name? Who is your teacher? Who sent you here? Where is the child elder? Is she dead or alive?" Mu Rongfu, Duan Yu, and Wang Yuyan also recognized him. He was the one at the Zhenlong chess meet. Afterwards, he rescued the mute little girl, the Shaolin monk Suju. Duan Yu was extremely happy. He could not help but shout out, "Hello, Wu Laoda! You must not harm him." Suju answered the questions one by one. He was polite and modest. "My religious name is Suju Zi. The child elder has passed away. Her remains has been transported to Heaven Connecting Bridge. As for my teacher, I am really ashamed. Really, I made a huge blunder. It's inconvenient for me to speak of it. If everyone doesn't believe me, later you can examine the remains of old senior. Many thanks to the good intentions of Gentleman Duan, I wouldn't be a hindrance. I am here precisely to handle the child elder's funeral arrangements. Everyone is also old senior's former subordinates. Please don't bring up old hatreds. Everyone should just pay your respects before her coffin and forget all those hatreds. Isn't this good?" He said sentence by sentence. Sometimes he was ashamed, sometimes he was sad. Suddenly he said something completely unrelated, and the sentence didn't link together. His speech was also not fluent. His last sentence was just entirely his own wishful thinking. They just let all the women walk out. I'm guessing they snuck out. I don't know. Maybe they ran really fast. The crowd of people assumed he was talking rubbish. He was mentally unsound. Their panic gradually weared off, and they became domineering again. They cursed him. "Young chap, what kind of thing are you? You dare to ask us to kowtow in front of that damn thieving witch's coffin? Damn it! How did that damn thieving witch die? Did she die by her martial sister Li Chu Shui's hands? Is this really her leg? Suju said warmly, Everyone, even if you have deep hatred with a child elder, but since she is dead, there is no need to nurse this hatred anymore. You keep on repeating damn thieving witch. Isn't this a bit too vulgar? Mr. Wu, he's such a good monk. So naive and innocent. Oh, I just want to hold him. Mr. Wu is correct. The child elder died under Li Chu Shui's hands. As for this leg, it is indeed the old senior's remains. Life is an illusion. It doesn't leave a trace. Although old senior child elder possessed deep and profound martial arts, but in the end her martial arts is still scattered, and she stops breathing. She will eventually turn into dust. Buddha is merciful. I hope that the child elder will reincarnate and be on the good path, doesn't experience suffering again. Everyone heard his nagging. It seemed the child elder was indeed dead. At once they felt greatly relieved. Everyone asked, When the child elder was about to die, were you by her side? Suju said, Yes, for the past few months I have been serving the old senior. The crowd looked at each other. Suddenly they had another idea. The secret to breaking the life-death talisman. Maybe it's on this young chap. A green shadow flashed. Someone moved closer and hooked the meridians on Suju's left hand. Immediately after, Wu Laoda felt something cold on the back of his neck. A sharp weapon was pointed at the back of his neck. A shrill voice said, Wu Laoda, let him go. Now, who's this? When Wu Laoda saw someone hooking onto Suju's left wrist, he knew the person's accomplice would attack simultaneously. He was about to raise his palm to guard his body, but he was slower by a step. He heard the person behind him say, If you still don't let go, this sword will chop you down immediately. Wu Laoda released Suju's wrist. He leapt a few steps forward. He turned around and said, Twin freak of Zhuya, the one surnamed Wu, won't forget today's matters. That was not shrill. Oh, sorry. The one using the sword was a slim man. He laughed maliciously and said, Wu Laoda, the twin freak of Zhuya will simply handle whatever trouble you throw at us. The first freak hooked on... So there are two of them. The first freak hooked onto Suju's meridians. The second freak searched his pockets. Suju pondered. Just search if you want. In any case, I don't have any shameful stuff on me. The second freak took out the items on his bosom, one by one. The first item was a portrait given to him by Wu Yazi. At once he unfolded the scroll. Several hundred people looked at the painting simultaneously. The child elder previously stepped a few times on the painting. Afterwards, the painting was soaked in water, but the beautiful woman in the painting was still vivid and lifelike, as if it was about to come out of the painting. The painting was simply ingenious and reached the state of perfection. When the crowd saw it, they immediately turned their head and looked at Wang Yuyan. Someone said, Yi! Another said, Oh! Another said, Peh! Another said, Huh! Those who said Yi were surprised. Those who said Oh suddenly understood something. Those who said Peh were extremely angry. Those who said Huh were disdained. The crowd hoped that the painting was some kind of map or landscape. Then they could simply follow it and find the legendary medicine or method to breaking their life-death talisman. Who would have imagined it to be a portrait of Wang Yuyan? After a round of Yi, O, Pei, and Huh, everyone felt disappointed. Only Duan Yu, Mu Rongfu, and Wang Yuyan cried out, Ah! However, the meaning to this Ah was different for all three of them. When Wang Yuyan saw Suju kept a portrait of her by his side, she felt amazed. She blushed and pondered. Don't tell me Don't tell me when this person saw me at the chess meet, he was also like Gentleman Duan? He put me in his heart? If not, why did he keep a portrait of me by his side? She's letting her beauty go to her head. But Duan Yu pondered. Miss Wang is an incarnation of a fairy. Her appearance is out of this world. This little master adores her greatly. It's not really strange. It's a pity. My painting skill is not even 1% of this little master, or else I can also draw a portrait of Miss Wang. Oh, no. Yeah, if he could, he would have drawn a picture of her. Or else I could also draw a portrait of Miss Wang. Someday, when I part with her, I can look at the portrait day and night. It can somewhat relieve my bitter suffering from missing her. But Mu Rongfu pondered. This little monk is also a toad that dreams of eating swan meat. Obviously, the phrase is referring to Duan Yu. The second freak threw the painting onto the floor and searched Suju's pockets. Afterwards, he took out Suju's official permit when he became a monk at Shaolin. A few broken silvers, a few dried rations, a pair of socks. It seemed none of them were related to the life-death talisman. While the twin freak of Juya were searching Suju, the rest of the crowd kept a close watch at the side. If they saw any peculiar object, they would immediately rush forward and grab it. Unexpectedly, there was no special object from Suju. Alright. Now is a good time for a 5-minute break. I'll be right back.
一颗心未眠，坠落你眉间，一阵风辗转，天高耳畔，一轮月清辉，照进我心田，竟是你笑颜。渐渐已习惯，一人阅尽千帆，不敢有何牵绊，而你跃然眼前，点亮我心灰漫天。几句难言，心绪波澜，而你的双眼懂我心弦。前路漫漫，心有你相伴，山河之间，看炊烟上万往西幽暗，人数消散，掌心的温暖环绕心间，风雪严寒，共灯火一盏，你在左右，便给我心安。 一颗心未眠，坠落你眉间，一阵风辗转，停靠耳畔，一轮月清辉，照进我心田，竟是你笑颜。渐渐已习惯，一人阅尽千帆，不敢有何牵绊，而你跃然眼前，点亮我心灰漫天。几句难言，心绪波澜，而你的双眼懂我心弦。前路漫漫，心有你相伴，山河之间，看炊烟上万往昔幽暗，日出消散，掌心的温暖环绕心间。风雪严寒，共灯火一盏，你在左右，便给我心安。愿一路长安，斩断旧缘付笑谈，期盼时光清浅，与你执手相看。往昔幽暗，日出消散，掌心的温暖环绕心间。风雪严寒，共灯火一盏，你在左右，便给我心安。
Okay, we are back. These twin freaks are searching Suju to see if he has any objects to cure the life-death talisman, but he doesn't. The first freak of Juya cursed. Stinky thief! Before that old thieving witch died, what did she say to you? Suju said, You asked what old child elder said before she died? Old senior said, It's not her, it's not her, it's not her. Ha 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 ha. Good job, Suju. Very funny. She laughed 3 times and stopped breathing. The crowd couldn't make heads or tails of this matter. They pondered carefully about the phrase, It's not her, and the hidden meaning behind her 3 laughs, but they were really hot-tempered and started cursing again. The first freak of Juya shouted loudly, Damn it! What, it's not her, ha 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 ha! What else did that old thieving witch say? Suju said, Mr. Senior, when mentioning old senior, please be a bit respectful. Don't scold her randomly. The first freak of Juya was furious. He raised his left palm and smashed it towards the top of Suju's head. He cursed, Stinky thief! I insist on scolding that old thieving witch. What can you do? Suddenly, there was a flash of cold light. A long sword extended over the top of Suju's head. The edge of the sword was vertical. If the first freak of Juya continued with his palm move, his palm would be severed even before he could touch Suju's scalp. In his shock, he withdrew his palm hastily. He was anxious and quickly retreated 3 steps. However, he still did not manage to pull Suju away and had to release his wrist. However, he felt slight pain on his palm. He raised it and examined it. An extremely thin sword scar cut across his palm. Blood was seeping out. He could not help but feel startled and frightened. If he had withdrawn his palm a little slower, wouldn't his palm be crippled? He glared towards the person who extended the sword. The person was wearing green robe. He was around 50 years of age. His long beard floated lightly, his appearance delicate and refined. He recognized him as Sword God Zhuo Bufang. Oh, he's a sword god. Wow, he must be really good. The sword move was executed extremely quickly, its target precise. It seemed his sword art had reached the pinnacle of perfection. He recalled the day Swordfish Island Master O left the group and ran away. In an instant, his head was severed by this sword god. Although he was hot-tempered, he didn't dare to feud with this kind of top expert. He said, "Sire, if you injure me with that move, what is your intention?" Zhuo Bufan smiled faintly and said, "Everyone wants to know the method to breaking the life-death talisman from this person. But old chap, you suddenly want to kill this person. If the life-death talisman of all the brothers here flare up, how would you suppose to account for it?" The first freak of Juya was speechless. He said, This... Zhuo Bufan returned his sword into its sheath. He leaned his body slightly. His elbow bumped against the second freak of Juya lightly. The second freak couldn't stabilize himself and retreated 4 steps back, his blood and energy rolling around in his chest. He almost fell down. With great effort, he finally managed to stabilize himself. He didn't dare to open his mouth to curse. Zhuo Bufan said to Suju, "Little brother, when the child elder was about to die, other than 'it's not her,' as well as laughing 3 times, what else did she say?" Suju's face suddenly turned deep red, his expression bashful. His head lowered slowly. As it turned out, he recalled the words that the child elder told him. "Bring that portrait over here. Let me tear it up personally. When I have no more worries, I will direct you to find the lady in your dreams." Unexpectedly, when the child elder looked at the portrait, she noticed the person in the painting was not Li Qiushui. Rather, it was Li Qiushui's younger sister. She found it funny and yet sad. Afterwards, she died. Suju pondered. The child elder suddenly passed away. Nobody would ever know the trail of that lady in my dreams. I am afraid I can never meet her again in my entire life. As he thought about it, he felt extremely disappointed. His soul seemed to disappear from his body. Zhuo Bufan saw his peculiar expression. He must be hiding some important secret. He said pleasantly, "Little brother, what did the child elder say to you? You can tell me. Not only the one surnamed Zhuo won't trouble you, I also have a great reward to give you." Suju's ears turned red. He shook his head and said, "This matter I absolutely cannot say." Zhuo Bufan said, "Why can't you say?" Suju said, "If I say this matter, in short, I cannot say. Even if you kill me, I still won't say." Zhuo Bufan said, "You really won't say?" "Won't say." Zhuo Bufan fixed his eyes on Suju for a short moment. His expression was very resolute. Suddenly, with a shwa sound, Zhuo Bufan pulled out his longsword. Cold light flickered. A few light chi sounds. The longsword swiped a few times around an old-fashioned square table. Immediately after, there were a few pa sounds. The square table split neatly into 9 pieces and dropped to the floor. In an instant, he slashed twice horizontally and twice vertically, a total of 4 moves. He drew the word "well" on the table. The same word that was drawn on Li Qiushui's face. Li Qiushui. The strange thing is that the 9 pieces were all uniform square shape, its size, length, and width completely identical. It seems as if the pieces were cut slowly after careful measurements with a ruler. At once, thunderous applause rang out from the hall. Wang Yuyan said softly, "This sword art is called Sword of Duke Zhou. It's the consummate skill of Fujian Jianyang. one-word intelligent sword sect, Senior Zhuo is most likely a venerated expert from the one-word intelligent sword sect. After their loud cheers, everyone fixed their attention on Zhuo Bufan. They did not make any sound, although Wang Yuyan's words were soft, but everyone heard every single word clearly. Zhuo Bufan laughed out loudly and said, Miss, you really have good eyesight. Unexpectedly, you know the name of the sword moves from my sect. It is really rare, really rare. Everyone pondered. We never heard of this one-word intelligent sword sect from Fujian. This old man's sword artist too is so formidable. His sect should shake the entire martial arts fraternity. How come it does not have any reputation at all? They heard Zhuo Bufan sigh and say, This old man is the only one remaining in the sect, a man who lost his family. The one-word intelligent sword sect, 3 generations, 62 people. But 33 years ago, the child elder of Heavenly Mountain wiped out everything cleanly. Everyone felt their hearts turn cold. They pondered, so this person came to Vulture Palace to avenge his sect. They saw Zhuo Bufan's sword trembled. He said to Suju, Little brother, these few sword moves of mine, I will impart them to you. How about it? As he finished speaking, everyone revealed an expression of envy, but quite a few people also revealed their hostility. For someone who was training martial arts, if he gained the favor of an expert and received 1 to 2 moves, very often it was enough to last him for an entire lifetime. He could become world famous and even use it to protect his life, all due to the guidance of the expert. However, it was also a common situation where an evil person mastered these wonderful moves and attacked his teacher. Thus, martial arts experts were very strict in selecting their disciples. Zhuo Bufan to willingly impart such first-class sword art to Suju, obviously, it was for the sake of knowing the child elder's last words and acquiring the life-death talisman. Suju did not reply. A female voice said coldly from the crowd, Mr. Zhuo, you are also hit by the life-death talisman? Zhuo Bufan looked at the person. The speaker was a middle-aged Taoist nun. He said, What makes Taoist sisters say such words? Duan Yu recognized this Taoist nun as Dali Wuliang Cave Master Xin Shuangqing. Originally, she was the sect leader of Wuliang Sword West School. After being subdued by the child elders' subordinates, she had to change it to Wuliang Cave Master. All these while, Duan Yu didn't dare to look at Xin Shuangqing. He also didn't dare to go near her subordinate, Zhuo Zimu. He was afraid they would bring up an old grudge. Now that she said something, he quickly hid behind a large pillar. Xin Shuangqing said, Mr. Zhuo, if you did not suffer the torment of the life-death talisman, then why the need to spend every possible means to beg for the method to breaking it? Supposing if Mr. Zhuo wanted to gain the life-death talisman to control us, then our brothers from the 36 caves and 72 islands just escaped a lion's mouth but fell into a tiger's mouth. I am afraid we won't be willing. Although Mr. Zhuo possesses divine sword art, but if you force us with nowhere to go, all our brothers here will disregard their lives and fight till death with you. Her speech was neither haughty nor humble, but it touched the main point and exposed Zhuo Bufan's motives, her words sharp and aggressive. Wuliang Cave, East School and West School, after being annexed by the Vulture Palace, the child elder planted her life-death talisman on both Xin Shuangqing and Zhuo Zimu. They already experienced the torment, but now their wounds were just like new, and they were afraid of being dominated by another person again. Over 10 people responded from the crowd. Cave Master Xin's words are correct. Someone said, "Chap, what are the last words of the child elder? Quickly, reveal it now. If not, everyone will chop you up. The experience is really not pleasant." Zhuo Bufan's longsword trembled. It emitted a buzzing sound. He said, "Little brother, no need to be scared. Just stay beside me and see who can touch a single hair on you. The last words of the child elder, you can only tell me. If another person heard it, then I can't impart my sword art to you anymore." Suju shook his head and said, "The last words of the child elder only concerns me alone. It's also related to another person, but it absolutely has no relations to everyone here. No matter what, I definitely cannot say. Your sword art is good, but I don't want to learn it." The crowd applauded loudly and said, "Correct, correct, good chap. Strong and unyielding character. Learn his sword art for what?" "That cute and pretty little lady, a single sentence from her, and she can uncover the origins of his sword moves. It can be seen that there is nothing special about his sword moves." Another person said, "Since that lady knows the origins of the sword art, then she is also capable of breaking it. Little brother, if you want to seek a teacher, then it's better to take that little lady as your master. Moreover, you carry a portrait of her in your bosom. Naturally, you should take her as your master." Zhuo Bufan heard the mocking remarks from them. He was extremely embarrassed. He looked askance at Wang Yuyan. After a long time, she still remained silent. Zhuo Bufan was angry. He pondered. "Someone claimed that you can break my sword art. Unexpectedly, you did not deny it. Don't tell me you really can break it." In reality, Wang Yuyan was thinking, "How come cousin is not too happy? Is he angry with me?" Oh my god. "How did I offend him? Could it be that little master kept a portrait of me? Thus cousin is enraged?" As for the words of bystanders, she did not hear them at all. Zhuo Bufan glanced around and spotted the portrait on the floor. Suddenly he recalled, that chap drew a portrait of her and kept it in his bosom. Naturally, he is very much in love with her. If I want him to spit out the last words of the child elder, then I must start from this little girl. Got it. He picked up the portrait and stuffed it into Suju's bosom and said, "Little brother, I completely understand your worries. Hey, talented man and beautiful woman, an ideal couple. It's really a match made in heaven. But someone is hindering you, thus it is difficult for you to get your wish. Let us do it this way. I will preside over the matter and betroth this lady to you. Immediately bow to heaven and earth. Your nuptial night will be at Vulture Palace. How about it?" While speaking, he smiled and pointed at Wang Yuyan. The entire one-word intelligent sword sect was completely wiped out by the child elder. At that time, Zhuo Bufan was not at Fujian. He narrowly escaped the disaster. Henceforth, he didn't dare to return to Fujian. He escaped to a cold and desolate place in Changbai Mountain and painstakingly researched his sword art. Unexpectedly, he discovered a sword manual left behind by some senior expert. He practiced diligently for 20 years. Damn, 20 years alone on a mountain. Finally, his sword art was complete. He believed he was unequaled under heaven. He left the mountain and killed a few famous, well-known experts in Hebei. Hey, Hebei! We know what that is! We know exactly what that is. This made him even more arrogant, as he considered himself unrivaled in the world. Thus, he proclaimed himself Sword God, as he knew no one could resist his long sword. Now his words were like law. Who dared to go against him? Suju's face turned red. He quickly said, No, Mr. Zhuo, you misunderstood." Zhuo Bufan said, "A man should take a wife. A woman should be married off. It's human nature to be lustful. Why be so bashful?" Suju was in a difficult position. He said repeatedly, it's not." Zhuo Bufan's longsword trembled. He executed a move called Heaven Like a High Mountain, followed immediately by boundless white fog. Two moves mixed together as one and thrust towards Wang Yuyan. He wanted to confine her within his sword and pull her over, use her like a rare commodity, and trade with Suju to make him spit out the secret. When Wang Yuyan saw these two moves, she pondered. Heaven like a high mountain and boundless white fog. 90% empty, 10% solid. Only need to attack his front, disturb his heart and abdomen. He would definitely be forced to withdraw his move. Although she knew the method, but she couldn't execute the moves at all. The light from the sword was flickering and covered her head. She was panic-stricken and cried out, "Ah!" Murangfu knew these two moves had no intentions of harming Wang Yuyan. He pondered, there is no hurry for me to act. Wait and see what this surnamed Zhuo is trying to do. Will this little monk reveal the secret for the sake of my cousin? Damn, he's cold, isn't he? Duan Yu saw Zhuo Bufan thrusting his sword at Wang Yuyan. However, he didn't know what was true and what was false in the sword moves. Naturally, he turned pale with fright. In a moment of desperation, he executed his graceful steps upon the waves and rushed quickly. He blocked in front of Wang Yuyan. Although Zhuo Bufan's sword move was quick, Duan Yu was still one step faster. The cold light from the sword flashed everywhere. There was a light chi sound. The sword tip swiped a line down Duan Yu's chest. It originated from his neck till his abdomen. His clothing split open. The wound was skin deep. Luckily, Zhuo Bufan needed to beg Suju for the secret. He had no desire to kill. Thus, when someone stepped forward to block, he immediately withdrew his hand. The force in the sword was perfect. Although the sword wound was long, the injury was trivial. Duan Yu was scared stiff. He lowered his head and saw his chest, abdomen, and clothing split open. There was a long sword wound and blood was seeping out. He assumed his chest and abdomen had split open and he would die immediately. He shouted, "Miss Wang, you quickly move away. I will block him for a while." He's so dramatic. Zhuo Bufan sneered. Clay Bodhisattva, crossing a river. He can't guarantee his own safety. You overestimated your abilities. Unexpectedly, you tried to be this lady's guard. He turned his head and said to Suju, Little brother, it seems there are quite a few people who are fond of this lady. I will get rid of this love rival for you. How about it? The tip of his long sword pointed at Duan Yu's chest. It was a few inches away. It trembled indefinitely. He only needed to thrust it lightly, and it would immediately pierce Duan Yu's heart. Suju had a huge shock. He shouted, No! Absolutely not! He was afraid that Zhuo Bufan might kill Duan Yu. He extended his left hand. His little finger lightly brushed Zhuo Bufan's Tai Yuan acupoint on his right wrist. Zhuo Bufan's hand turned numb. His 5 fingers released the sword hilt. Suju easily grabbed the longsword. Damn, he's just too strong. He beat this sword god in like 2 seconds. Suju easily grabbed the longsword. His seizing of the sword was a high-level move from plum-breaking hand of heavenly mountain. Although the move appeared average, his little finger contained the highest level of the minor formless skill. Even if Zhuo Bufan gained another 30 to 40 years of internal energy, the sword would still be seized away. Suju said, Mr. Zhuo, this gentleman Duan is a good person. You definitely must not harm him. He conveniently returned the sword back to Zhuo Bufan's hands. He lowered his head and inspected Duan Yu's wounds. I think we'll stop here. Yeah, we will. Next week, we'll see the battle. I think we'll stop here. So, how do you guys like the chapter? I liked it. That's good shit. Man, Suju is just super strong now. All right. I like that I like that Suju saved Don Yu's life. They're buddies now, kind of, a little bit. I like it. It's good stuff. Yeah. He's super strong. He's better than Duan Yu, man. Duan Yu can't even control his martial arts, okay? It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. But Suju, even though he doesn't know a lot of martial arts, he can still be pretty strong. Suju just gets given everything. Yeah, true. He gets the internal energy of not one grandmaster, but 3 of them. First, we thought Duan Yu was going to become the most powerful character. Yeah. Who's the strongest one now? If Suju learns martial arts, then he'll be the number 1 under heaven. What do you think? He'll be the martial arts god. All right. Well, that was a good chapter. Thanks for joining me. All right. I'm glad you guys are here. Still Xiao Feng? You think he's still the best? Okay. We'll see. They'll probably compete at some point, right? We'll see who's the best. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you're here to read this with me. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!